Basically, that's what.
I got a
that's
little
why I just
dark.
picked up.
I like that.
What's your heritage? What's your background?
I am Negro and black or some form of African. Well, I'm American, American black person, but I'm still learning. I'm just trying to figure out how it all populated anyway. So I can't.
Right.
You could say, how far do you go back? I know. I guess one of my people did the either the 23andMe or the Ancestry, and my people apparently are from Haiti.
Oh, no way, yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Say word. So I don't know what part of Africa, then Haiti, what that connect is. I'm interested. I think it probably would be the West Coast of Africa because I have a chill. I feel a chill vibe. I feel like at West Coast Africa's chill. I don't know if it's one for one. I don't know if it's like America, like how we're more chill on the West Coast.
You're from the Bay, and the Bay is mad chill too.
I'm from Fresno, but we do identify more with we have more of a Bay-ish vibe. Yeah. It's like between pirate and Bay, like ne'er-do-well, scoundrel, and Bay Area.
So between Fresno, Haiti, and the West Coast of Africa, you're probably a pretty chill dude.
I think, I'm a chill guy, man. But I think
Harlem, we're doing a podcast right now.
I like the dog,
Harlem.
man.
Hey, you hang on. Okay, you want to come chill right here? Hey,
he wants to shine.
He wants to shine. Do you want the chair?
He wants to eat.
Just holler at Dino. He can get out.
yeah, man. You sit, man. Have y'all interviewed him?
No, we don't even know whose dog that is. I told you we don't even own this place.
You guys are not supposed to be here. The dog is like, what are y'all doing here?
Shout out from Spencer from THE. That's his dog. He's next door.
Everyone's next door. How many? Y'all got the place surrounded.
There's only 4 corners in this bitch. We figured out a way. We got 18 friends around.
You guys made the work stretch, man.
Yeah. I mean, Haitians are mad chill though.
You know, I haven't had that much experience with them because in California, in Fresno, it's diverse, but you're not getting a lot of like different groups of like. You get some Ethiopians. I grew up Ethiopians. Cambodians. Mongs, Armenians, Mexicans.
Armenians.
You like the Armenian? You got excited there. What was that? Why was that?
I don't know.
Why'd you make the sexy sound? He said, ooh,
Armenian. That's mad exotic.
Ooh, Tuctarian. Ooh, hiccup Tuctarian. It was cool growing up in Fresno. It was a lot of different races, but not a lot of different type of black people. So when you get to the bigger cities, you get that. Or probably Miami, you're gonna have Haitians, little Haiti. I've been over there, but I just,
Have you ever been to Haiti?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Dude, go to Haiti.
I you know what? It is on my list.
Haiti will change your life.
You've been?
I've been to Haiti.
Okay.
I know.
Now, how did it change you? What you take away from it? Like, what hit you? What was the first thing that hit you when you landed when you touched the soil?
When I touched down. People are gonna laugh. People that listen to this podcast are gonna laugh because I always have this thing where I'm like, I'm white. Listen, my perspective, whatever. But the first thing that hit me down there is simply that fact, like, oh, I'm a white guy.
Oh, you finally felt white.
You finally felt because everybody there
is not
white, and usually haven't seen a white person. So, like in like St. Mark and some of these like other like not Port-au-Prince, but. So you go there and like their perception of white people is either one, slave owners, because slavery actually didn't end that long ago, late 18th century, right? And persisted for a long time. And it Haiti was like the first independent colony.
Yeah, right.
Like literally the first colony.
1803 or something.
1803 or something like that. They literally rose up and slaughtered every like slave owner.
Right.
Shout out to them.
Right. They fought. Yeah, they got their independence.
Absolutely, and but that is still very much the spirit of Haiti and what I found. So it's either the perception is either that like slave owner, or the perception is like Christian missionary, and regardless of what you might hear, the Christian missionaries are either loved or hated, because the primary
is there any tour? Is there like, oh, this is a tourist?
Nah,
it's just slave owner.
It's like
missionary.
If you're now, here's the thing. So you can go down there and act like a white person, or you can act like a local. So I went down with my uncle who owns an orphanage down there, and he's like mad cheap. So we'll raise money and we'll raise funds and we'll go down there and give it out. We'll build infrastructure or whatever. However, he's like, listen, every dollar. So we went for like 2 weeks. This was 2 years ago. And he's like, every dollar that you spend on, a hotel or a private taxi, because you have to get private taxis. There's no, like, you have to get a private taxi, private driver to get you to where you're going. Listen, every dollar we spend there, which is like $50 American, $100 American, because you're getting white prices and all that type of stuff, right? All of that is like, that's money you don't spend on the kids and you don't spend on the orphanage. So we're not spending any of that money. So when you go there,
so you had a trip with the people,
absolutely.
So you had, so it changed your life because you felt your whiteness, felt your differentness.
Absolutely.
Better yet,
absolutely, and felt like felt the history a little bit. Like, so what you do is you ride like tap-taps, which is just like trucks with 100,000 people in the back of them riding buses,
right,
town to town. So you go on a tap-tap. But you can't go in the middle of a tap-tap because you'll get robbed, right? So you can't, like, in the middle, like, people, go in your pockets and shit like that. So he's like, all right, listen, you got to stay on the top. If we're going to tap-tap, always stay on the top. But
is it like free or is it $1?
No, it's like $1.
Bucks?
It's like nothing. It's nothing essentially. It's almost free. On our terms, it's almost free. And then, but you go on the top and you're like, you go through every town and then make stops in every town, and you're just this white person on a tap-tap, which is like not.
Well, see now I think it would change my life for a different reason, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. But, no offense. Looking at me like I'm about to be offended.
I think that's good, man. I think I just had this conversation with someone about just that small part of, they brought up traveling and they were white too, and they went somewhere. No, it wasn't a conversation I had. It was something I saw on TV, and a guy was saying that, and he was saying it way not as cool as you though. This was like a cowboy dude who was kind of low key saying he was uncomfortable. Yeah.
He's probably a little bit racist and shit.
That's kind of seemed the way he had that twang in his voice of this was weird because it was a lot of black people.
Yeah.
But I think that you get that taste of what it is like to be a minority of just the actual word of just. You're the odd man out. You're the one that's noticeable, and it's not. It doesn't have to be a bad thing or a good thing, or it could be either.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that everybody should experience just to feel. Because you could go out and rock it. Because you got that cool white guy kind of vibe. You got a different kind of, like, you hoop or like you could dance good or something. I don't know you that well, but it's like a Channing Tatum vibe. Like, just like you feel comfortable, like you'd be like if you were from the Bay, you'd be like a white dude named Tracy,
right?
Like a white dude kind of could be a light skinned black dude.
I grew up listening to Mac Dre, so that's probably
what it is. Yeah, so
and I hoop all the time.
Yeah,
so that's
there you go. I got that hoop vibe because that's really what brought. I guess when you're young, that's what brings you together. That's one way is through sports. And you talk that same language, and I think it's a valuable thing when you could just in fact that's why I ended up here. I grew up in Fresno and I hooped. My brother hooped, and in fact that was one of my first jokes was about. It wasn't a great joke, but it was just like
disclaimer.
Disclaimer, wasn't the best stuff when you're first starting, but it was about because back then when we still wore the baggy pants. It was like it was still like late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, all right.
So we still wore the baggy pants. So, but the reason we wore those because we had basketball shorts underneath. Because you always had to be ready to hoop, like at the drop of a hat, and every black dude had the pair. That was my joke of basketball shorts. Like even Obama, if you look close, he had a string. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You see the hoop string.
Yeah.
And we would get it on, man. And that was just part of the culture. So anyone who could hoop, you already are speaking the same language. And my boy, he moved from Kelowna, which is this is years ago. I didn't know shit about that place. He moved to Fresno, and his brother married a girl from Fresno that he had met up here. Anyways, he could hoop. Had a big ass head. And we was like, that dude has a big head. But what he was like, just, I was like, who is this dude? White dude, lights out though, could shoot like birds.
Because he's white.
Hey, I'm just coincidence. But he could shoot, and we became friends. And at the end of the season, he said, why don't you come visit where I'm from, man, you know? Damn. And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I went at 16, we had a tournament in San Francisco. After that, drove with his family up to Kelowna. And then we did the houseboat. They met him on the Okanagan, did a houseboat. Never been on no houseboat. We was doing jet skis. Damn. And I was just like, man, you know, this is, there's white people fun. This is why I get it now. I get that part of it. Okay. and I was in, like, the family was just super welcoming, and the vibe was, for me, I didn't know how, you know, the pressure of racism, the stink of it in the States. It's still, even if it's not overt, it's around. It's around for kind of everybody. Like, and when I got out of the States for the first time, I said it was like stepping out of an elevator everyone had been farting in. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't know that it smells until you get out.
That's fucking relevant.
It's a
that's a funny analogy.
It's not the most eloquent analogy.
Shit, neither is racism, man. Like,
so when I was up here, that was the vibe that I got. It was like, oh, okay. It wasn't oh man, black dude, you know, can you rap? It wasn't none of that, or it wasn't black with a negative, with a, you know, some kind of negative vibe. It was just like, oh, cool, different, great.
Cool,
come on in, yeah. And that's what I felt, and that's what drew me to this country and my experience here. And yeah, man, we hooped, and we're still friends. Hell really good friends. I emceed his wedding at Stanley Park.
Hell yeah. And that's pretty white too.
Yeah, all the way, hiking, all this shit, man.
Brunch on Sundays.
Yeah, we did champagne brunch.
Oh, you did.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what it is, man, and that's beautiful. You know, like, as a white guy growing up, like, I grew up on a really small little island with like 900 people.
Where?
Hornby Island.
Is it on the West Coast?
It's on the West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the West Coast, and it was one black family, and they taught me how to play basketball, honestly, and that changed my life.
That sounds like a movie. It sounds like you're lying.
I'm not lying.
I believe you, but that's hilarious.
Emil Bassett, bro. I swear to God, that was it. Funny. And he's just like, yeah, man. He literally like put up a hoop on the island, put up 2 hoops on the island, and taught me how to hoop. And that like got me off the island early. I grew up in a bad home. Got me out of a bad home. Wow. And sent me over to Europe and all this type of shit.
So you hooped. You took it all the way.
I played a year in Europe, and I tore my ACL out. Yeah. I'm white and short, you know. So you know.
But my bro played overseas.
Oh no way.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Different. It's different over there. In a good way. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, that it cross contaminates, and like. Every white guy on Vancouver Island be like, if you're a hooper and a black guy comes into the gym, you're like, I need to be friends with that black guy right there, honestly, because it was like a street pass in basketball, because we always went down to the States. Okay, and we were like,
to see if you could boogie,
to see if we could actually play. So we go play in Seattle and Portland and all that stuff. And it was like, oh, we don't want to be another all white team down there.
Yeah, no, you talking about that like that movie, man, White Men Can't Jump.
Same shit.
It's the that's why the movie's fire, man. Billy Ho.
This is real.
Billy Ho.
Yep.
Yeah, the Stookie Brothers. What y'all know about the Stookie Brothers? Y'all don't know nothing. They're like, what are you talking about? I watch way too many movies. I just grew up on movies, and everything's a movie reference. I could pull a reference.
I like it
from a movie, okay, that's how, in my mind, I'm like, that's how you do that.
Yeah.
That's how it works so I have a whole warped way of
I'm the same
things.
way. Who was like the actor that like taught you how to move?
It doesn't matter. It could be growing up, it was like growing up in a petty, I grew up one of 8. And so it was like growing up in a petty master class of just detail to where we look at an extra. If an extra said something the right way, we pause and be like, everyone get in here. Look, this is how you do it. For no reason. Like no one wanted to be an actor. It was just like if some stunt man fell a certain way, we had a beanbag. So we like, let's see who could do the best fall.
Oh, damn.
Like Jean-Claude Van Damme, all that shit. We were like, anything was a competition, and it was all like trying to get it right, get whatever the rhythm of it is right. So actor, it ain't really, it could be whoever is being a vessel for that moment. So if it's The Hustler, that's one of my favorite movies with Jackie Gleason and Paul Newman, Fast Eddie, you know, and George C. Scott.
Yep.
And George C. Scott is the coldest, and they're all cold. Yeah. But it's little moves, man, that people do. Like I'll try to explain one scene where they're Fast Eddie's hunting for Minnesota Fats, which is Jackie Gleason. They're pool sharks.
Okay. I haven't seen the movie.
These motherfuckers are bad.
Okay.
They actually do their own shots.
Okay.
And they're just low down pool sharks. And they're mid-game, they're 18 hours in. And they call the big money guy, which is George C. Scott. He runs the streets. He runs every gambling game, goes through him. So they call him over. This is when white dudes were cool in movies. They were cool. They was talking, hey,
Before
what you
my
know?
time, bro.
Yeah, they was like, what you know, man? Yeah, right on, man. They was talking like that. I don't know what the fuck happened, but they was cool.
We took a left when we should have took a right.
Yeah, just and so he comes over to see what the action is. So he's sitting down and he's watching it. He has his shades on inside. It's smoke filled in the pool hall. It's just degenerates all around. And it's the biggest game on the streets. And he's just looking, and Paul Newman is getting pissed. You know, he's like, hey, buddy, man, you been sitting. He goes, hey, man, you been sitting there the whole time. Man, you mind moving? And this is the move. George C. Scott said. And he got up. And he did that.
Ooh, moves his chair slightly. Ooh.
What?
Cold.
Cold.
Super cold.
That's cold to me. I watch that. I go, that's how you move. If someone tells you to move, don't get, sorry.
All fucking Canadian and shit.
No, just all frazzled, man. And it's not just Canadian. That's the Canadian stereotype, but it's a lot of that energy, man, of a frazzled, like, you know, you got to move when someone say move and follow the rules and just do as you told vibe. And you know, that's not really.
Rather than just be cool.
Just be cool, man. Really take your time. That's something that is super valuable is taking your time and thinking and not just reacting, not just, you know, and it takes work, man, because your body is naturally gonna betray you. The body is gonna betray. It happens on stage, and I know this from bombing, not from doing good, but from bombing. My boy and I, we call it. Is my boy Amir K, one of the best comics in the game, best friend in comedy. We started together, and we always before a set we would look at each other and be like. And we always talk shit. We're like, oh, you're beady-eyed. And then when we say someone's beady-eyed, it's like, you know, when your eyes are shifty and you're nervous, you're not there. You're not in the moment.
Who's here?
Yeah, who's
looking
here?
at me?
You hear a motherfucker drop a napkin in the background. You're like, sorry. And you're like,
let me get that.
No, you know when you're just in the way? Yeah. I was somewhere and I had that in the way energy where you be in a corner and someone be like, hey, buddy, I'm trying to get over here. And I just don't. I said, enough of that energy, enough of that shit. I'm not in the way. This is my space as well. And I think, it's just important, man. Like having that, your body will betray you on stage. If you're bombing, your neck will start to like get, tighten up. Your throat gets dry. You get hot for no reason.
Yeah, you start
somehow that you go like, did someone turn up the temperature?
What the hell's going on here?
It's fine.
All of a sudden you got gas and shit.
Yeah, you're not doing so good. You have to put yourself and you don't might not have to put yourself, but recognize when you're in an uncomfortable situation and don't just immediately run from it. You know, kind of, and I think that's universal for anything of like kind of getting, and that's why I love doing stand up. Really, you know, is a discomfort because I don't have a script ready for tonight. I have a couple of ideas. Yeah. I don't know if they're even related. I don't even know if they're funny. They're funny to me.
Oh shit!
Right, and
working material out.
That's it. Yeah. That's what it's a conversation. It is a conversation. Yeah, I'm doing the talking and you're doing the listening and the laughing. Hopefully, it's a lot of laughing, which
is part of the conversation.
It's part of the conversation in my field. But the discomfort is where you grow. That's where the gold kind of is, you know, is of like, actually the real growth is in that of going, you know, that feeling when you react and then you go, shit, man, I should have thought you driving home. You go, I should have said this shit. I should have told that motherfucker this. You have all these comebacks. But instead you go, sorry, thanks. You tell someone thanks. Like, get the fuck out of you. Thank you.
Yeah, cut me off.
You're like, appreciate it. Yeah, you're like, what did I just say? There's that feeling of like, you go, I'm acting like a bitch for no reason. That's way different than someone cutting you off and you go, I saw what you did. Yeah. Maybe you needed to go faster than me. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
Or you almost crashed in that side lane. I saw you get out of that. Like, hey, bravo,
do
my
what
man.
You got to do. Maybe be a little careful next time. I'm at that place of my journey, I guess.
So how do you get into that? How do you, when you're in that situation, like if you're you went on Jimmy Kimmel. Before Jimmy Kimmel, you had to have a couple butterflies going. You had to.
Well, that's you know, and there's nothing like preparation. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing like you can't really cheat that. You know, you can guess and sometimes you're right, but you can't cheat it. So I did in that particular thing for that. I had ran the set enough times to where
you were cool.
Yeah, and really by the time that happened. You know, late night is kind of changing because that was the only real avenue to get seen on a national, you know, stage. But now, since no one's really watching TV like that, not no one, but a certain demographic is watching TV, it's moved. Yeah. So you have Comedy Central, you have all these different outlets or networks online giving 5-minute clips and saying here's the late, so that's equivalent of a late night. But I guess when I had done it, that was still kind of like, and it's still cool, don't get me wrong, and it does feel, it's like, oh man, this is the late night thing. But once the day comes, it was like I'm the last 5 minutes at the end of a silly show. That's essentially what I love to, like, Jimmy Kimmel's hella dope. I'm just saying late night is silly TV. Let's just call it what it is. Don't get it twisted. It's clown TV at the end of the night, and you're the last thing on there. So in the scope of things, it ain't a big deal, and it should be fun. Right. So I made sure I was I knew it would go by quick, so I was like, I'm gonna have fun, man. So I had they said I had the most guests for the green room. So my mom was there, my brothers, you know, my friends. Yeah. I had my Bluetooth going. We were ignorant. We were acting ignorant.
Acting like true Fresno folks. I
took it to Fresno with it. It had that vibe, and we made a party out of it, man. And I had a good experience. Yeah. So it's just, and I think that came across.
Absolutely. I study comedy a little bit. I don't know why. It's very interesting to me. The interactions are very interesting to me, whether it's conversations like this or conversations, you know, on stage or anything that's impromptu. Even like Broadway shit, there's interactions there, right?
Yeah, plays
so like watching you do that Jimmy Kimmel skit, like your cadences were very crisp, but in a impromptu way. Yeah, you were very relaxed.
It was definitely, you know, I had already had the set down. I could do that set in my sleep, but then it's like the real, you know, vibe is to throw it all away. Say it like, but not like you don't care, but it's a timing thing. It's a vibe. It's really trying to not just say, hey, okay, what's my next joke? Please laugh. please like me.
God damn it.
Yeah, I need this.
This is gonna go so bad. This is gonna go so bad if you don't laugh. I need you to laugh.
Yeah. So,
I'll pay you to laugh.
Right. When I had that, I was like, man, it's too late in the day for that. It's you called me to come here. I ran the set. This is as funny as it could be, pre-planned in 4 minutes. Now, if the next level would be to get the juice to just go up on a late night show and just riff. That's when you're like,
That's crazy.
That's some shit.
That's crazy.
That would be raw,
That's
and then maybe nothing happened. You go, well, whatever.
Who gives a shit?
That's where I want to get to that stage. I get that, not like where people will laugh no matter what, but you really,
it doesn't matter.
Well, you're taking them. They'll appreciate what they're seeing. They're seeing something that's just for them. Like Carlin did a set where he did like a whole rap kind of song about the like poem, spoken word almost. A dope ass spoken word style set all about the Vietnam War.
Wow.
For one of his late nights.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So I study this shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I study this shit, man. And there's people that's come before us that's really, used it and elevated it whatever way they can. And that doesn't mean everyone needs to do like that, or I got to go talk about the war or something, but whatever your voice is and whatever you're really, what's on your heart to say,
right.
Whatever your voice is, finding the best creative way to put that out there.
Right, I understand. So let me ask you this then, that like maybe play devil's advocate a little bit. Do you think that, for instance, there's a couple I've noticed this year with a lot of specials, and even 2018 with a lot of specials, you can go out and have a Netflix special or Comedy Central or whatever. You have an hour, your half hour, and you can go do a set, but there has to be a message behind it now, versus like there has to be something political or with the times with it. There has to be like an overlying theme of like, oh no, I stand this way, versus like the Bill Burrs of the world will be like, no, fuck all that.
Hey,
and they believe that comedy should be a place where you can say anything.
Hey, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think that is the terrain now that we're in. And I am on, the whole comedy I feel like is about being original and trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. And so when you say the original thing, automatically that should erase copycat formula, you shouldn't have to do, and nor do you have to. That's the real rub. You really don't have to be political. You don't have to have a theme like that. And I think, but if you are trying to please people and go with the flow of things, then and if it's not really who you are, then you'll see that. You'll see, just like the music industry or something, you'll see people doing the same kind of song, and they'll be talented, but they're saying this echo chamber because you're telling people who already agree with you. Yeah. Some old shit about, gay people should be able to get married. And it's like, yeah, man, cool. You're not a hero. Cool, like, yeah. But then the shit that gets me to be like, but I'm not gay. Just for the record, it's like, put some skin in the game. Yeah. If you're, I like it, man. And it's not. I think it is reflecting. It's everyone's fault. Whoever is, both people are party to that. People who are punishing others for jokes they don't like and using their platform to silence somebody, that's what I see a lot, about, like, this probably won't even make sense because I'm trying to, in my head, it looks crazy when, let's take comedy out. Let's just take a online conversation that you could turn into maybe, that's how you look at Facebook and see what's everybody talking about today. Yeah. So everyone changed people started changing their profile picture to blue to the Sudanese flag. Right, yeah. And then, which is, okay, cool. And then they go, I saw people that I know would be like, something happening in Sudan. Now keep that same energy you had for Paris. It's like, what the fuck are you? You're leveraging Paris to Sudan, and you want me to keep energy? Who is this for? And what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. What are we actually talking about?
Yeah, what are we
talking about?
What are we talking about?
What
are we talking about?
Yeah.
Are you mad that someone was talking? What are you talking about?
Because we're really talking about the ecosystem of people's opinions. That's what
we're talking about. We're not talking about Sudan. We don't give a fuck what's happening in Sudan.
Point to that bitch on a map.
You exactly. You don't care. You don't know. It's next to Ethiopia. Yeah. It has a bunch of, I'm like, I don't know much about it. I got some Sudanese friends, but it's like, you over here talking about keep that same energy. It's like, what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Why are you yelling? Change your profile picture. like they act like in the middle of getting slaughtered, Sudanese people can be like, wait, stop the war. Dino,
his profile picture ain't blue.
Yeah, we can stop fighting. Yeah, we can finally stop. He kept that same energy.
Yeah.
And so when you have a crowd of them, then you're gonna be, imagine trying to make these people laugh who want you to keep energy and tell you who to be mad
you
at.
Talk about this crisis the way you talked about that other crisis.
Fuck up. But it's up to the artist in whatever field to be willing to take whatever the L would be in that situation, whether it's less people in the crowd, whether it's not the clapter where people are clapping and not laughing. If you say, hey, I don't give a fuck about Sudan right now. There's people in LA, there are people in San Francisco shitting on the ground. Yeah. Most of the people do that, that live on the streets. There's 40,000 people in LA homeless. Yeah. And now if you don't care about that in your backyard, then shut all the fucking way up. Yeah. That's how I feel. But I'm not gonna say that on stage unless it's funny, unless I have
you have an angle.
I have a punchline to where we all go, okay. Ha, ha,
I see the point. Okay, Dino.
Because at the same time, exactly. I'm not out here to try to act like I have some answers and follow my way. I can tell people about what we were talking about earlier about slowing down and thinking and not just letting your emotions manipulate you and dictate. Then you're a slave to that. You're a slave to the moment and whoever is mad at everything, you go, I'm mad at that too. And then they go, nah, that shit's cool. Now you go, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
With this life, to waste it like that is fucking crazy.
It's an injustice, for sure. So, but you say, okay, don't let your emotions rule you in the moment. Okay, cool.
I try not to. Try. That's what I say. Try.
Try not to.
Yeah,
try not to.
I meant try.
Right.
I say don't, but I meant try.
I got you. But then the counter to that is like, what do you mean? Don't live in a moment? Right?
No, I mean living in the moment isn't immediately speaking on something without all the information. If that's what living in the moment is, then go ahead and be like the rest of those chumps. Yeah. And spread a bunch of bullshit and then don't speak up when the whole story comes in. Dude, you could do that. You could I say live in the moment, but why is what's the big rush to get on the record? Mm-hmm. Why do you have to break the story so fast?
And why is your opinion valid? Like, why do I care?
That's a good question. So that's what I mean. It's like being in the moment is the opposite of grabbing your phone and tweeting. It's actually taking it in and having that conversation with that person. You see something, you say something, whatever. Don't run and start tweeting. That's our go-to now. And
it's fucked up for sure.
It's fucked up, but then there's good things about it too. So it's like it's just part of the cards that are dealt with our generation right now. Yeah. And good, bad, whatever. It's not gonna stop people from being petty and having opinion and shit to say.
And people always been petty. It's just in different forms now.
Yeah. I think pettiness is part of an essential ingredient of being a human. It is. It's always been. I'll read these old short stories from like the 1700s and there'd be like this guy named Guy du Maupassant, this French writer.
Oh, yeah, I heard of him.
You know, yeah.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you know his stuff. You know his work. But I read some shit, and it was just like a Larry David petty story where he slapped someone's cake out their hand and had to pay for a cake, and then got charged, and all this stupid little dumb shit where you go, oh, that's funny. People were doing dumb shit back in the day, and people always had the same. You know, humans are going to be humans. So we're just navigating that right now, how to do it online, how to do it, you know, where you're not in front of me.
In this ecosystem.
And so getting back to the question of do you feed the crowd and preach to the choir, or do you take the risk and say be true to yourself? And if both of those line up, great. But you'll know the difference, and you'll know because it won't last. That's and then comedy it's a different art form, so it doesn't have a shelf life like other things. But it's like you'll just know, man, you don't want to watch that shit again. It's just you don't remember nothing. It's just like everything was super on the right side of history, whatever, you know, that whole vibe.
But you know what, you look back on it, like look at, this is kind of weird. Look at Delirious. There was some super controversial fucking terms dropped in Delirious, all right?
Yeah.
And that shit was hilarious. Right? And one of the greatest of all time.
Right. And so if you judge it to today's standards, it's not fair.
You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, this is not ridiculous. This is it.
You're like,
you can't.
Murphy, oh my
But at that time, he was going for it. That's when I'm in comedy. You need people to play different roles.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone shouldn't be the same comic.
Yeah.
And Eddie wasn't afraid to go, man, I'm 20 and this is what the fuck I think, man. He goes, I'm a grown man. He's 20. He goes, I'm a grown man, man. I was like, what is he talking?
Wait, hold on.
He's like a prodigy though. He was like, in my mind, like a Mozart. Like he was already dope. And by the time he was 20, he figured it out and went out there and put it on the line.
Yeah,
and so.
And shit. Kudos.
Hey, it worked out for him, man. It worked out for him.
Kudos.
But it comes with criticism, and it comes with people to say, hey man, that's not that you shouldn't have said. They could say you shouldn't have said that. That's their right to have their opinion, but you said it though. You went on stage and you did it. So until someone does that, is willing to do that, they could have their opinion. I don't give a fuck.
Straight.
It's straight up.
That's
man.
what it is. That's what it is. Like it reminds me, no one's looking back at Eddie and being like, yeah, we don't really fuck with Eddie because of Delirious, because he said these things and then we don't really agree. Like everyone still looks at Eddie and be like, oh yeah, that's a legend. That's a legend.
Yeah.
However, when you look at guys like Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart just had a situation like that. Kevin Hart just had a situation where he had to step down from the Oscars, right? And I don't even know the backstory. I don't know the tweet, but he was getting at, he made a joke about gay people, right? Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And he had to go back, apologize, step down from hosting the Oscars and all that shit. Like, now when was that tweet? Like, I don't know, 20,
right.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, how long? Like, is it okay to be racist 40 years ago? Or is it okay, like, and where's the line?
I mean, race. If you're saying this guy, the whole thing is he's a comedian, so he has that umbrella,
right?
But what he did, and this is my opinion, I don't know what the fuck do I know, but what he did was when you write it down and you tweet it, that's different than being on stage.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about going on the record. This need to go on the record and go, oh man, I got this thing. You take that risk. And so he's paying for that risk. If it was something he said on stage, I protect the freedom of speech in the pursuit of making people laugh. You're in the pursuit of making people laugh, and you take what you say makes a left. That's happened to me. And I know I don't have a racist bone in my body.
Yeah.
But I am a human, and I can
said some borderline shit.
Yeah. And so that's a different thing than when you tweet, and that's what I'm talking about of like navigate, because Because when you write it on the written, no one's hearing your voice.
You thought about it.
Yeah, you thought about it. And it maybe, I know in the room with your friends, it might have hit. Yeah. But then online, it just don't read as funny. And he's, he had to apologize for that a bunch of times. And it was just a cheap joke, a low-hanging fruit joke. And it wasn't to me, I wasn't like, oh man, how dare you? It was like, I said it. I was saying a joke. The Caitlyn. It was when the Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah. And
the Caitlyn Jenner thing.
The Caitlyn Jenner switch.
Switch.
Yeah. Rather. Not the thing. The switch.
My bad.
No, it ain't. I'm not. It was the switch. I'm sure I'm not saying it. Yeah. It was a switch. Yeah. And the whole joke was about how I just need 2 days. Yeah. Just 2 days to get it. And it's a fun. Now it's admitting what's behind it is me admitting my ignorance. Yeah. I just don't. And it isn't I'm not on board. It isn't. Your name was this. You gonna be you Joe. I'm gonna call you Joe. That's not it. Yeah. It's just 2 days for a conversation and going. Oh, okay. This is what's up. If I'm your boy, that joke. Someone in the crowd was trans and DM me and said, hey, that joke somebody after the show was when I walked out was saying 2 days, like mocking them or something, which obviously, and I stopped doing the joke. I did it a few times. I said what I had to say and then I stopped doing it. Right. Once, in real life, this message could be misconstrued. Now that's just a decision I made. Because I took the 2 days. So I didn't need to keep, you know what I mean? Then at a certain point, I was like, oh, I get it now. 2 days.
That's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's just knowledge that. So there is a comedy in being ignorant. And and there is also a little risk thing of going like, I'm gonna say this. And I said it, and that's also part of comedy. That's not my whole act, but there's room for getting a little rattled up if that's what happens to you in the pursuit of this is me, showing how I process this thing and trying to connect, trying to go, okay, how do we bridge this gap and have this conversation? And that's my I guess what my goal is.
Right, that's how you approach that situation.
That's how I approach this most things. Yeah.
Okay. So but I think not that I even have the right to have an opinion. I have a podcast, so I have the right to have an opinion, motherfucker. So I got I think that the essence of comedy is to walk the line, and whether that's like you're on stage and at any moment you might lose the crowd. And at any moment, you might take a left when you should take a right, and it's literally it's a balancing act. We see comedians do this all the time, where they lose it, and so they're walking that constant line between laughter or that was offensive, or whatever. And they're constantly. That's what makes things funny. Is you're like, someone brings a topic up, a comedian is on his next thing, and he brings a topic up, and he's like, so gay people, and everyone's like, ooh. Here we go, and that's I don't want to say that's the fun of it, but a good comedian will take that and make a serious issue funny.
Right. See, and that's what you like, and that's what I like too. But then there's some people who go, I don't like none of that controversial stuff. Right. I like, just tell me about food.
Sure, but that's how, as a society, I believe that's how we work through issues, is talking about them.
I'm with you on that.
So it's like you're a comedian, we're gonna give you a certain amount of immunity, so you can go through and actually break some stigma.
Now that's what I like what you're putting out there, man, because that's what we're here for. So you're right in that. It's just that now Twitter and social media gave everyone a microphone, which is cool, but they go, well, hey, that shit ain't funny, and you should not say it that way. You go, well, how should I say it? Well, just not that way. Yeah. But also, do you give a shit about that? Me, I'm breaking away from that. Yeah, I broke away from that, and I just know where I'm coming from, and I know what I'm going for.
Yeah, but the world doesn't necessarily know that. Like, for instance, like we can sit down and be sitting down for 30 minutes now, and I can tell you don't feel no type of way about anything. Like I'm trying, I'm like, this guy is gonna look at things for what they are and be like, yeah, all right, cool. Do you?
Or yeah, exactly. I do feel certain things, but yeah,
of course.
It's hard to.
You're not gonna be overly opinionated.
I'm not my ref. Yeah, my biscuits aren't getting burned easily.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. You're not gonna cook my grits too much over something small, over something that everyone else is getting mad at. No,
right. And I can probably sense that, you know, with you being on stage within a matter of minutes.
Right.
Me personally.
Yep.
You know, and so, and I'm not saying that like, oh, that gives you the right. Like, oh, if you're not racist, you can be racist. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that there's a certain level of comfortability and we have to have these conversations. So if there's a lighthearted way to have these conversations, let's have
it. I like what you're saying. And I you know, choir preacher, man, nice to meet you. Man, I'm picking up what you're putting down, man. And you know, I just think like it's a transient occupation too, where kind of anyone could get on stage. You'll get people who aren't qualified and then trying to take on bigger matters that's over their head, and that's fine too. None of it matters, man. Like when I get booked for a gig and they say you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't use this language. In my mind, they'll give you a lot of money. And then you'll go, in my mind, I'll take the money if you know I'll take the money, but in my mind I'm like, what are you so afraid of?
Yeah.
A comic, a modern day clown saying that's gonna be like everyone's like, oh, I can't believe he said it.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's how I think.
Yeah. I have a certain respect for that. And I also have like we had Gavin Matz. You know Gavin,
that's
right?
That's a homie, yeah.
Yeah. We had Gavin Matz on the podcast, and I went to see him. He was just in town for the weekend. I went to see him the night before, and I was like, all right, let's see. When he was at the Comedy Mix, and it was his birthday.
Oh, yeah. I was in town,
It was his birthday and shit, and Jesus, and he had a 45-minute set.
Yep.
Or whatever it is, and he's like, all right, you know, he's like texting me stuff. I got 35 minutes worth of material and we'll riff. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. Like, I'm excited. You know, like I've seen your work. I'm super excited. Yeah. He gets 10 minutes in, he's killing the crowd. You know, he's ripping it up, doing his thing. Crowd loves him, whatever. And then he starts with a couple like little, like he's from New Westminster, right? Yeah. And so he starts with a little like white trash jokes and shit like that. And this one couple just heckling like savage. Like I've never seen a heckler like that. Like all type, like ruthless shit, yelling ruthless shit. And at the end of the day, like he took it and the club owner, you know, got him out of there or whatever. But he took it, morphed it, took the crowd, morphed them, and literally just turned the whole thing into like a riot, like a huge fucking joke, and morphed that whole situation in and didn't back down from his point. He was like, you know what? Fuck you, and here's why, and here's how I'll make it funny. You know what I'm saying? And that's like that's a Picasso.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a Picasso.
No, man. I love watching Gavin, man, and that's the homie too.
You did something with him. You did some show or something. I saw it online. Fuck, you did.
Oh, we did.
Like getting drunk and high?
We did getting high. Getting Doug with high. Yeah.
What was that like?
That was fun as hell. That was really fun, man. Doug is that shows, man, that's the chillest show. You really are high, you doing dabs and he just throws out some random stuff and he's chill, and it hit Gavin hard. I think I have a high tolerance and I'm already seem high.
Right.
But so it was an easy transition for me, and we were just talking shit, man. Like, you're high before you start.
Right.
So I just right away was like, hey, man, I'm not Canadian, man. Because it was like Happy Canada Day or
legalization. That's right.
And then I said, I don't know what happened, but I'm not Canadian. So I snitched on myself right away.
Yeah.
But we had a good time, man. Yeah, no, that's what you're describing with Gavin is exactly that's what I like to do. I like when it feels like it's alive and it's a conversation. Right. Like a lot of my shows you know, you would have that energy, or if I'm headlining, somebody in that set is gonna say something. Somebody in there is they don't really heckle me on the negative. They just be like, yeah, you know, yes to that, stand up. Like, are you guys listening? Yeah. I'm like, they try to kick one. I was in Seattle. Some lady goes, yeah, this right here, and I was like, yes, she's right. And then they go, miss. They tried to come over to quiet her down. I said, nah, man, that's my number. That she gets it. Yeah. These other people should be like
get
her.
Get on these motherfuckers
get
out
on
here.
Her. Yeah. Get
me and her.
I want
her.
I just need one. I want fanatics, man. So,
I love it.
Yeah, I like that alive energy, man. And when somebody, if they pissed off and they go, fuck you, man, I'm like, all right, cool. Man, let's talk about it. Now we having a conversation. I'm sick. Like I was getting my nails done in LA, in Sherman Oaks, where I live, and I go there every couple of weeks. So I don't know people's name, but they know me there, and I'm the only dude in there, and it's all old ladies and shit, and I'm getting the nails. And then this dude comes in, tries to use the ATM, but he's not a customer. So the owner was like, hey, can you use the ATM around the corner? Yeah. And the guy was like being an asshole, and he like threw him $1, like, I'll pay you to. Yeah. And it was crazy. The guy who came in took it up to 10 though. Oh, bro. He's yelling, acting crazy. In my hands, I'm getting prepped, marinating. My hands are marinating in the bowl. Right. And then I go, hey, man, because women are looking like, what's this guy? He's screaming.
Dino, do something.
Yeah, do something. I go, hey, man, listen. I said, well, why don't you relax, man? Some. And he goes, man, who the fuck are you? It was I know I'm sick because I was like, I didn't get mad. I was like, I said, I'm the guy who's talking regular. And who's about to get his nail done. Can you calm down? You're the guy who's screaming. Yeah. So who's tripping? So I had that energy though. I attract a lot of like that. Not like that. I hope it is like that too sometimes, but in the crowd, I like it when it's alive, man. Right. So what you're describing with Gavin, that sounds like that makes the whole show. Not like you want things to go smooth. You want people to go, oh, that's an original, funny look. Yeah. Oh, ooh, ah, ha, ha, all that shit. You want them to feel something, man. And just, watching people bored is the worst. Oh. I'd rather you boo me, man, than be at least
sit there uninterested.
Man, that's when you're really not doing your job. So if you get someone heckling you, I'm like, welcome to Jam Up City, man.
Yeah, let's go.
You're at the right place.
All right.
You've come to the right place. I say, when I promote my shows online, I'll say, enemies in free, friends pay double. Because friends always want to get the guest list, and it's like, you're not a friend.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Enemies, if they enemies will pay to see you. They want to see you do bad, and if they laugh, then you know you're doing it right. So.
Yeah,
that's my
point,
fucked up mentality.
That's a Vancouver thing, man. We have we throw some parties here, and we know a couple other flow wedding guys that are nice. We know a lot of people that are throwing events in the city and stuff like that. And I'll have I'll be in there, and I'll see someone come up to the door. Hey, yo, hey, bro, like I know the guy, like, hey, bro, right here, and you're like. And so the guy comes up, whoever's running the show. He's like, all right, bro, like, what's the cover? $20, $10, $10. Okay, cool. Listen, I'm gonna take this 10 on my pocket, and I'm just pay your ticket. It's all good. Come in. And then as soon as they have that conversation, oh no, don't, bro, worry about it. Roll out a stack of 20s. Here you go, no problem. Because it's not about the $10 or whatever. It's just about the status. It's just about I know that guy, and that's how I feel. A lot of things are out here. It's like. It's a lot of like
clout chasing,
groupie mentality type thing.
And it be dudes too. The most dudes are the worst groupies.
Always dudes are the worst groupies.
They're the thirstiest groupies.
They smell the worst.
Oh, yeah. They never fresh and drip. Because anyone who's dripped down isn't gonna ask. Mm-mm. And now I but if you're the homie, it's like, oh, it's a no-brainer. You on the list, but then the true homies would be like, man, let me pay.
Absolutely.
And so
that's the thing. The true homies will either be in already because you already had that conversation, or they're just paying.
That's it. There's no if it's fight night, it's like if that's the only time I heard from you, we're not really that good of friends.
That's what I'm saying.
We're not. Now it's up to you if we're enemies or not. In my mind, I don't have a lot of enemies.
Right. You're good either way.
I'm good either way, but I feel because I rented out the Vogue theater, and I did it January 4th, and I put my money up, and I brought in my guys to do the show and produce this thing, and it was the same situation on that night. It was a couple of jokers at the will call making a ruckus talking about we didn't know about the tax, man, on the ticket. I was like, man, if that's what you worried about, maybe you should sit this one out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'd be the loudest people who were like, hey, I supported you. Yeah. I support. It's like, I'll pay you to not support me. Yeah. Here's money, man.
I don't need that.
That's just a. I think there's always been clout chasers. Jesus talked about clout chasers.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, the Pharisees, apparently.
I didn't know that.
There was, in the good book. Yeah.
In the good book.
The people who go out and, instead of praying on the low, they be like, Jesus, I'm a good guy, look, I'm giving money to people who giving money to the poor in front of and taking a photo of it, or like, when the girls would go to Africa and pick up a little African baby. Look what I got. Yeah, it's a lot of cloud chasing, man, but I think that's one of the ingredients, bro, of being a human, man.
That is one of the ingredients of being a human.
You have to
I respect it.
You have to check yourself within and see if you're cloud chasing.
Right.
You got to check the cloud chaser within you, because we all have it. Yeah. We all have a little bit of hoe in us. We do. Think about it. That's why if you meet someone in the airport who's famous, if you ran into whoever your guy is, like Dirk Newell, and you go and you took a photo with him. I know. That's
if you ran into motherfucking John Stockton, you ran into JJ Redick.
I'm just riffing. You might know Steve. So I said,
"What's up, Dirk?"
If you know Steve, if that's your boy, if that's not your boy, you just ran into him and he's like, "Cool, you took a photo," but then you put it on Instagram. Is that not clout chasing?
Absolutely.
I think it is, and I think I'm sure I've done that before. That's not my character. It's not a good look, because we were in the club. It's back in the day in Fresno, man. And I'm like 21, 22. I'm with my older brother, and all the ballers were back from Europe, from overseas, because some cats from Fresno played.
Okay.
And so it's like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's money back in the city. We all doing it. And we saw the group, the male groupies around the VIP table. And my bro was like, see how this cat operates. Look at this. Yeah. Dude's like, when you let another man pour a drink with the bottle down your mouth, it's like, come on, man, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So I saw that's what that looks like to me whenever I see that.
Right.
These disingenuous moments. But I'm not the moment police. I don't want to be the fun police. If that's fun, that don't really jam me up.
You're not gonna let it burn your biscuits.
I ain't gonna let it. I'm not gonna let it steam my carrots at all. I'm not gonna do that. I don't. Right. But it does. The one that did bake my broccoli was the keep that same energy. I fucking hate that.
Right.
When some peasant tells you tells you to keep some energy. Yeah. Like there's this collection of there's this finite amount of energy.
Technician.
Yeah, this finite amount of energy that somehow you keep tabs on because of Sudan and Paris, and you fucking care who. It's like you're not doing nothing with your voice. You're using your voice for bullshit, and no one cares. Yeah. That's the only little soapbox I'll get on.
So I feel like that is just like the universe that we live in. Like if you look on Instagram, that is all anybody ever does. That is like the only thing. That is the only thing. No, like nobody. It's all like living my best life. It's like, for instance, if you go and you hike somewhere and you go take a photo, or you go.
I be doing that.
Yeah, whatever, right? For sure. No,
I be cloud chasing.
I'm on hikes all the time
for nature.
I know people that go on hikes just for the photo, and they're hard hikes.
Hey, but you know what? See, that's where the spin is. It's like if cloud chasing gets you in better shape, more power to you.
Right.
Yeah, at least you dripping. You doing better. Your stamina's up.
I like so if I take a selfie with just like a baddie, and I'm like, hey, cloud chasing gets me laid.
Hey, man, if that's really what's happening in your life, I'm not mad at that. So yeah, it's weird. It's a stupid conversation, but if you just take it to the genuine moment of off the record, how are you doing? That's what I'm interested in these days, is the how are you doing? I ask myself that, and then if you somebody that we're gonna spend any real time talking, I want to know. I'm gonna pick up on that vibe, how you're doing. Look, kind of more inward than what's going on the outside. So
you gotta have an understanding. You gotta have an understanding of yourself, right? So you need to and that's what we always say. Like you said earlier, living in the moment or whatever. Like don't be a slave to your emotions, right? Yeah. And that's like kind of the same thing. Like if you're just literally walking around this city or this world, just like being played like a piano.
Yeah.
You're just being played.
Right. And you can learn a bunch of things. You could be up on every social issue. You could be on the right side of everything, but you don't even know yourself. Have you ever read this book called Siddhartha?
No.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
The Journey to Self.
Okay. All right. That's what it is?
It's just, it's been around 100 years. It's Herman Hesse wrote it. He won the Nobel for literature.
Self-author?
Herman Hesse wrote this book.
Okay.
Gotcha. He's a bad motherfucker.
Okay.
Bad motherfucker, man. And this
Cold.
book, cocaine. But the book is about the journey to self, and people have been writing about it since the start, man.
Right.
So we still are trying to figure it out.
Right.
So
you heard of Jordan Peterson?
Yep.
Yeah. So Jordan Peterson has this whole thing, future authoring versus like you have to essentially write out what your life is right now. Like actually like write it like it's a character. Write it out like who are the other characters in the story? What are your personality traits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you write out what you want the story to be. And it's literally like the exact same thing.
It's in that world.
So it's like I think that is it's existed for a long time. We suck at it. And we continue, and that's part of being a human.
It's hard, man. It's hard now because it's easy to get plugged in,
absolutely,
to it. And if you don't have no self control, you'll keep scrolling, you'll keep checking, you'll keep needing to be abreast to nothing. You need to be up on it. You needed the latest what's happening. And I just deleted my Twitter.
Wow.
I just deleted it.
That's maybe an injustice to the world, but okay.
Not at all.
No?
Not at all, man. They won't miss me.
No?
There was nothing.
Nah?
There's plenty of people. The job's covered, man.
Right.
There's plenty of people. They've got someone. I think they didn't even notice. They didn't notice at all. They're like, huh? No. I just didn't want so much intake. I have enough.
Right.
I'm already overstimulated with bullshit. It's already too much clutter. I don't know who told me what. Yeah. I don't know if it happened online or someone said. Yeah, you don't know.
Was it in a show?
Right. Yeah. So now I want to be a part of the conversation and not the noise. And hopefully more listening. I talk for a living, and
yes,
but yeah, it's I always am taking things in though, and trying to see a different culture, different area. Even this area, I was like, I never been here. I'm only come this way to go to the airport.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is a different part of Vancouver.
Yeah, South Van.
Yeah.
You're like,
how do they get down out here? Yeah. I don't know.
All types of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know how they get down.
I feel you on that for sure. It's definitely important to get out.
This old Asian lady was mugging me when I walked down the street, but where you from?
She works for us.
Yeah, I was like,
we audit people.
She's like, what set you? I'm like, Kitsilano? I don't know.
She's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on, man?
We pay rent to her, you know.
Hey, man. So it's I like seeing different things, man, and seeing how people live in that when they're comfortable, who they really are. I like to know the dirt. I want to know the dirt underneath your fingernails.
But you don't have no dirt because you be getting the mani-pedis all the time. So that's how you get your life straight.
I try to keep my hands clean, but I have some I got some skeletons. I got some bodies.
Got you.
I got some bodies.
Got some bodies on that.
No,
one.
for real, because I never want to be like that kind of guy who tries to present some perfect image. In fact, I was with my girl and her people, and her uncle said he got a call from some like what's the word, like con artist type people who say you're in trouble with the tax.
Yeah, the government, CRA is trying to
some
get
kind
on
of shit like that. But it was like, hey, we got
your cousin.
Yeah,
we gonna need $1 million.
He was like, which one? Tony, fuck him. Click. No, it was something like they got the email because they hacked some hotel thing that he went to, so they hit him up. They're like, hey, we saw that you've been looking at that you've been looking at some porn sites, and we're going to we're gonna tell we got an email list, and we're gonna email everybody unless you give us like $20,000. And then I was like, okay, so what he wasn't looking at the sites, but he was like, yeah, I got out of it or whatever. But I said, what'd they say? He said, they said they'll give him 12 hours to respond. And I was like, oh. And I just told him, I said, man, for me, I was like, thank you. 12, I got a couple calls today. I was just like,
don't worry.
I'd be like, hey,
20, no problem.
Hey, I'd be like, hey, mom, no, I'm not paying you the money. I'm telling everybody shit. Yeah, I'm like, hey, mom, I like.
You're going through every contact in your phone.
Yeah. I like MILFs or whatever. I like little people. You know what I mean? What, I don't care. Yeah, I'm like, I was lonely. I'll call everyone and tell them in advance. If
Listen, man,
it's not illegal.
I was in fucking Arkansas and
I'm
shit.
A creep. What do you want from me? I'm a little bit of a pervert. As long as it's not illegal,
you're
it's
straight.
Like you're not gonna blackmail me with a secret.
Yeah. Yeah. You have that nature to you where you're like, everything's done on the table and you're super comfortable with like your own self-expression. And like whatever that moment is of you, as long as it's coming from you, you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna put it on the table and roll with it and play with that. Like you have this kind of like this incredible self-awareness, and that comes through on stage and like and whatnot. Like you, even if you're riffing and even if you're just going off the top, you have this like innate cadence that allows you to like digest how you're feeling and what's coming out of you, and just be true to that and not even play the crowd. And kind of have that. Like, that being said, how do you, when you're in that moment, I've never understood this at all. When you're in that moment and you're really comfortable with you're really comfortable with your material, but you're riffing and you're just going off the top, where does that, like, how do you cultivate that energy?
Well, to be honest, man, I think that's when I'm having my best.
Right, but what if you're not?
I mean, then that's the pursuit of this game. That's why you get up 10,000 times or whatever, however many it takes, and it's one of those crafts where to tap into that takes so many times, and some people have touched it and can access it. The Chappelles and the different, but we all have it though in us. Whatever. I mean, I think we do all have it in us. Yeah. Are you willing? Have you found the right thing?
Right.
That you're placed to do? Have you found that your calling or whatever? And then are you willing to do those uncomfortable moments?
Right.
1,000 times, a couple thousand times to get to a place where you can access that. And that's what Vancouver allowed me to do. It gave me, being new here, because I started in LA and then I came here.
Right.
And I had there was no preconceived idea of me. It was just hey man, just what do you got?
Yeah, what's up, Dino?
And then it gave me chances to, trying to be funny is always harder than being funny.
Right.
And being funny, sometimes I've done sets where it's taken, people been laughing, but it took 30 minutes into the set for we all to get collectively on that page, and then I'm like, oh, okay, we got there.
Yeah.
Here we go. And then, or sometimes it's right away. So I can't really, I don't have I'm not having mastered it to where it's like, boom, here you go. Because the riff, if it's genuine, it's gonna be what's in the room. I can't tonight I can't use yesterday's riff today. I've tried to, and it's always stale.
Yeah.
Even if it's funny, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
And there's little lines here and there that are cool, but a real true some in the moment, it takes not giving a fuck and being vulnerable and being aware enough to where you're present. You want to be funny, you don't give a fuck, but you also care. That all you do is care about. You almost don't give a fuck, and you care only about that moment of what's happening. You're not thinking about, you know what I mean? You're not thinking about 10 moments from now. You're not thinking about yesterday. You're not thinking about what's going on at home. You're not thinking about.
You're here.
You're here.
Right now.
You're here right now.
Yeah.
And when you're there, when I'm there, that's when I'm at, I think, my best or whatever. Yeah, I think that's when I'm at my most original, because I could come up with the joke and I'm gonna think it's original. But we all could be touching on a topic of it, a version of it. If I got my joke about Twitter, my joke about OJ on Twitter, or Instagram, whatever, it could be it's gonna be different. But when I'm really being an original is, it's this. You ever see 5 Heartbeats? The scene where 5 Heartbeats is Robert Townsend made. It's about like a kind of a Temptations type soul group.
Okay.
And it's dope as hell. And in it, the lead singer he has an ego.
Okay.
And he there's somebody that they bring on to the band who's kind of like his adversary in a way. And then he runs into him in the hotel hallway, and he was like, you even trying to riff like me. Like, that's a famous line. Like, you motherfucker even trying to riff like me. Like, so like when you can't riff, like when you could take someone's joke, you could sing like somebody, you could do, but if you can't riff, somebody by their riff, by how they get done. That's their fingerprint.
Like Dave Chappelle. He has such a unique riff.
Yeah, Bill Burr too. Yeah,
Bill Burr has a unique riff.
Yeah, everyone has their style, man. Everyone, Gavin, I have my style. I put some of those clips online, and it's fun to say, because I like to, especially if it's early in the show. It's I don't want to dirty it up to where now we can't have a show. Now we can't get back to having fun. But I want to address what's going on.
Okay.
And keep it moving.
That's funny, because that's like in ball, I always say, like, if you want to know the essence of a player, go play street ball with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In ball, there was a coach, I might have told this story before, but the coach for Fresno State took me, the homie from Canada, and this other player on the team, and had us do a little private workout or whatever. And he stood at the 3-point line to defend. He goes, just come at me like a flat. Like, come at me and just do your thing. Yeah. And so Javance went boom, boom, did something, probably hit him with the step back. I think I hit him with the in and out. Some kind of hezzy in and out. Boom. And then my boy got jammed up. When he got jammed up, and the dude stole it from him. And then he said something. He goes, hey, man, you got to have some shit to your game. When he said that, I was like, you do got to have some shit to your game. Whatever that is, you got to figure that out. You got to have some shit to your game. Yeah. That, and, I wouldn't say, if you're gonna attack, just hit hard.
Hell yeah.
Hit hard.
Hell yeah.
And hit as hard as you can. But, if they just poked you, you don't need to, get a bazooka out and do that.
Right.
Yeah. So
no, I feel that for sure. Like if you I'll coach camps and shit, and I'll come up to a player that we're doing a little like a ball handling warm up or something. I'll be like, I'll just come up, play a little defense, try to poke the ball away from him, and the difference between good players and the bad players are, bad players just freeze up, hold the ball, be like, oh coach, what are you doing? And the good players like, oh.
Now we got to.
We doing something? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like you're in between breaks at a camp or something. Like I literally just came from coaching a camp, so it's fresh in my mind. Like you're in between breaks and some kid just, you're sitting there talking with the coaches or whatever. Some kid just throws you a ball like, hey, what you got?
Right.
That's the kid I want.
Right.
That's the kid.
Somebody who's already ready to hoop.
You want that, and I see that in comedians as well. I see that in actors, in people in any states, with podcast hosts. Even with that, like it's like if I see a podcast host, I'm like, oh, I'm about to hit you with a conversation, see what you do with it.
You're petty. I see how you get that. I like that.
In any state, I'm just gonna throw you a ball and see what you do with
it. Yeah, man. That's how I like. That's why I was like, don't go over this shit. Talk to me.
That's what I'm saying. And you have that nature of like I could tell before even anything, I was like, okay, what's the angle here? Because with every guest, it's like, well, what's the angle? How are we going to approach this? Do we want to have because we have everyone from investors on to like business owners to comedians to athletes to actresses and like literally everybody. Yeah. And so it's always like, okay, well, what can I learn here? What can I learn here? What's the angle here? And in this case, it's like, well, I don't dance, but I like to dance. Like what I mean by that is I like to have a way.
You don't dance, but you like to boogie.
See, I'm white, so I wouldn't say that.
I think what you said.
Right. Thank you for filling that in right there.
I don't know if you were gonna say that. It just sounds
like I like to just go and kind of balance on that razor's edge a little bit, and I think anyone that's truly a good craftsman of whatever that they do can live on that edge, and that's why, like you just said, the true tell of a great comedian is their ability to riff.
I mean,
right?
Any artist have their signature on it is their riff, and
right?
It could be Bob Ross. He had his riff was like all these happy clouds. Look at them little deer right there just peeking out from the side. Hey, little buddy. He had his whole thing.
Sure.
Just finding your own your calling. I think finding your calling, man, I think a lot of people don't have their calling. That's why that's where a lot of commentary and opinion come in. If you have a lot of time for opinion, you don't have a thing to contribute of your own,
absolutely,
wrong or right or wrong, and
if you're not bringing something to the table,
yeah.
So within that,
no shit to your game.
No, you ain't got no shit.
To have some shit.
You don't have any gravy
game,
to your potatoes and shit.
Oh, okay. Come on.
I've had that said to me, man. Don't worry about it. You're too straight. But within that, like for instance, you're in a space where it's really easy to like know if you're funny. Like, I feel like if I'm watching someone, I can be like, oh, that person's got it. She's got it. He's got it or whatever. Like, what was that point for you where you're like, oh, no. Like, I got it. I don't know what it is, but I have it. Like, I have the juice in this particular setting, in this field.
I don't know. I mean, that has come and gone and because you're only as good as your last show.
Right, you're only as good as
you
your
feel
last
it. You only feel as good as your last show.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if I bombed tonight, I'm like, man, I'm really not that good at this and this, which is not true. But I just think it's like you just you step back and look at the record overall, look at the journey,
look at the wins and the losses. Yeah,
you. What they say, you got to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, when to run.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, you don't count your money when you're sitting at the goddamn table.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what Kenny Rogers said.
Okay.
And the game isn't over, so I'm 10 years in, so it's a good time to go, oh, man, what's the record look like? How are things shaping up? And it's okay to feel like that. For me, I'm like, I think it's okay to feel like that and to, even stumble forward a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're happy with bombing and all that.
I'm not happy with it, but it's just part of it.
You're accepting of it.
I'm accepting of the process of growth, man.
Sure.
What if you just had one set that worked all the time?
Right.
What the fuck is that? That's a play then.
Yeah.
So I like the process of learning and growing. And I look at the 10 years of my life and where comedy has brought me, and it's like I couldn't see it any other way. You know, I don't even have a parallel life that I go, oh, I wish this went this way or that went that way. Because if you're just gonna magnify the losses and erase the wins, then you're gonna be living in this prison of L's.
This really weird spot. And that was one of the first things I was gonna ask you, is that like, how, if you weren't doing comedy, where would you be? Because comics are these weird outliers. You know, they have these unique stories. Like, where would you be if you weren't doing comedy?
If I had to do a job, that would suck, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. A security guard. My resume has some holes in it.
So where were you from 2001 to 2019?
So I got a mean joke about 2 days. No, I would be I think a photojournalist.
Really?
I think that's interesting to me because I can still travel, take photos, and try to get into people's
tell stories.
Right. I think that would be something I'd be interested in.
So when did you make the leap here? Like, this is always interesting. Is like comedians make the leap where they're like, oh no, this is what I'm gonna do. When was that leap for you? Like, you've been in this game, what, 10 plus years, 15 plus years? How old are you, man?
I'm 36.
You're 36. Okay.
I've been in the game for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, going on 11.
Yeah. So, like, so you're 20-something. You're 24. You're 25. When did you start comedy?
I dabbled 25 and really, like, I even dabbled the first couple years.
Wow.
So, and then got serious before I came out here, and then really got serious here.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, that age, your 20s is kind of like, it's rare if you actually get something done. I haven't met a lot of people who haven't wasted their 20s.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, your 20s are kind of for fucking up. And if you get ahead of that curve, great.
Cool
for you.
Yeah.
You know, but the average person is gonna waste their 20s, you know, fucking up. And luckily I had this thing. There was this comedy thing where I could talk to people and connect and talk some shit, and that was kind of the thing keeping me, you know, part of the conversation, part of a real connection with humanity.
For sure.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so, you know, it was just, I did a bunch of sales job. I did all that stuff, but then it was like, there's no feeling here. There's no real purpose here. And then that feeling of like having to learn this whole thing and really go, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all the way in.
Right.
And that's just kind of how I decided to do it. And it wasn't really that hard of a decision. Once I decided that, it was just like, I was like, okay, I've lived like a peasant, you know, I've lived like a nomad, so I don't need to live off much.
Right. I can do this.
Yeah, I can do the lifestyle of it. Can I actually create something and who say, you know, then you're in that whole, it's like a pirate, man, shit. It's like we don't get a union card. It's just you get on you say what you got to say, go to a bar.
You got to pay for your dental and shit.
Yeah, you got to go I'd come to town, I'd go to a bar manager and say, hey man, this looks like this could be a good place to do some comedy.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a couple $100 and I'll get a comedy show here. And they're like, all right. And then I would just do that.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
And then I'd ask people to open for them before, like the host, before he goes on. I go, hey, can I open while the people are watching the hockey and shit, and, you know, TVs are on, music's on. I'm like, let me go. And so, yeah, man, it was a world where I could throw myself in it like that. And
damn.
Yeah, so
you just literally had to go out there and put it on the line.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, man.
What was your first open mic like?
My first show was at Haha. It was cool, man. My friends were in the crowd, and it was cool because it wasn't horrible. And I did like 3 minutes of jokes,
and it was.
It worked. Yeah, it was. You know, obviously, if I went back and watched it, I'd watch it from a different point of view. But it wasn't a horrible experience. I remember the guy was like, this next comic, it was Eric Larry. He was like, yeah, this next comic, shit, he's already on stage, and I was like, already there. And then I just was like, yep, yeah, let's just all was hella excited to do it. And
hell yeah.
Did my thing. And it was like some joke about peeing in it because I watched the movie It, the original. And then I was like, I thought it was going to cut my dick off at 5. And that's how I peed in the bed while I was awake. So, it was stupid, but it was it was kind of a true story, and it was funny enough. And then I bombed at the Comedy Store.
No,
I did the show there.
No, you bombed at the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
And then I couldn't even drive by the place for like 6 months because I ate shit so bad.
Damn.
But But that's even that, like, no one gives a fuck when you're new. No one cares, man.
Yeah.
And then I did it again. I kept doing it. Well, my buddy was like, hey man, you got to do this shit, man. You're funny.
Yeah.
And come host my show at this bowling alley. And I was like, okay. And I hosted it, and that's where I got to get comfortable with the crowd. And
you
all
really
that
came
stuff.
up, huh? Damn.
Man, I'm just getting started, man. I feel like.
Really?
I do.
Because I heard you're retired.
Yeah, I did retire. That was like, I had to retire
no
on him,
bullshit.
man.
This guy just straight face was like, nah, I feel like I'm really getting started, just really hitting my prime. I
Even prime.
I did retire.
I did quit.
I did retire.
And
though.
King Jordan came
You tried baseball for a couple of days.
Yeah, I did something else.
You went and tried to be an architect for fucking 6 months.
Yeah, designing
fucking churches and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I found God
in Sweden
in a
and shit.
different way.
Yeah, I did retire, man, because it was like just the idea of begging people to come to shows,
right?
And going, come for 10 years, like. I just had to rearrange that.
So how do you do it now? Because I'm similar to you in that I'm like, listen, they don't come like with this podcast. I'm like, I don't care.
It'll be there either way.
I don't like. It's cool, and if you do, awesome.
I like that.
Like, whatever, it's here. There's a million things out there.
Right.
Go find whatever. There's a million shows in town. You want to go watch a hockey game? Go watch a hockey game. But so it's like, I heard that you don't necessarily like promotion, but. Now knowing that coming back, how do you promote?
I came back and I started promoting with actual, content and funny, and fun. I brought fun.
Is
back.
that when David Goggins came?
That's when D Goggins came back.
D. Goggins
yeah, he came
man.
out. Yeah, D Goggins doesn't give a fuck. He talks crazy. He's nuts. He motivates you, but he cusses out your fucking mom. Like he'll tell you and your mama you ain't shit.
Yeah.
And so I like. Yeah, I just started having fun, man. I think I was at that point where I just wasn't having as much fun. That part wasn't fun. Sure. And that was such a big part that I said, man, fuck this, man. I don't need to do that. I don't need to. It's not going to make a difference right now. I need to get back to why I even wanted to do this in the first place. Having fun, man. And so I do. And I didn't really believe in the internet. I thought it was a fad.
You thought the internet was a fad?
Yeah.
It is not a fad, my friend.
It was gonna pass. And so I didn't put nothing online.
Wow.
And then I said, okay, let me start. It seems like it's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
I'm not good at investments.
Right. Uh-huh.
So I started putting up those clips and just having fun with it. And I think that's the best way to do it for me.
Yeah.
To say here's a joke or here's a riff, and come see me if I'm in your city, and if not, it's okay. I won't take it personal.
Yeah.
They can't kick me out anyways of the game, so I'm good.
I'm here now. So with all that being said, you're still headed out of down south. Where specifically you're at where's home for you? Home
is L.A., but. Actually, home is a different concept for me, man. I've always kind of been a little bit of a nomad.
Right.
So Vancouver is one of my homes, to be honest.
LA is one of your homes.
LA is where the headquarters are but it never really feels like home.
Sure.
But Vancouver feels more like home.
Hell yeah.
For me. So I'm gonna be out here more often and the world is I like Toronto. I like a bunch of little places, man. So, but Vancouver is one of them, though.
So what's next for you now? Like you've done the late night thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's
right.
A good question.
Like what's next for you?
Is this? I'm doing this. I guess I shouldn't talk about it too much, but
that's cool. We can edit it out. No, trying to bait you.
No, I'm gonna do. Yeah. No, I want to do. I'm doing a kind of a series, independent kind of dope series.
Oh, very cool.
Short. It's gonna be really fly, man. It's gonna deal with that, how to navigate your emotion, how to navigate emotionally in the modern age of social media. So it's like in that Black Mirror territory, but funny. Yeah. Like so I just want to say something that, like I said, that adds to the conversation. And then it's not stand up. I'm just gonna keep doing. I love doing it. Yeah. I'll keep coming out if I get an offer for a special, great. If not, I'm not gonna force my comedy on you. You could just I got records out. I got shit. Yeah. But story is what I want to get into now. So I've been working on that over the last year of how to visually do these kind of short films and storytelling, man, and bringing it to a visual, not just the stage. So I'm really excited about it. When more develops on it, that's something that I like to just shut the fuck up about it and then go, here's this thing.
Here you go. I got you.
But that is what I'm excited about as well.
And that's sick.
Yeah, writing a new joke, trying to find a new angle on something that's fun, and then doing this show will be really dope because it'll be like no network notes, no kind of it'll be 100% what I
authentic.
Well, yeah.
Shout out to the internet. That's why you can do that now.
Yeah, I doubted you. Sorry, I doubted you. You're undefeated, internet.
Yeah, the internet is undefeated.
I thought it was past.
Nah,
I thought it was just like Bitcoin or something. I thought it was just.
It's not that. Do you hoop anymore?
I don't, man. You know
what? You're like Kobe Bryant, bro. Used to hoop, and now you're just trying to storytell.
Yeah, he is a story. Yeah, he is.
That's all he did.
Man, all of them want to tell stories.
All of them want to tell
LeBron,
stories.
Everybody wants to get into my.
Fuck those guys, man. Field. God damn it, taking your lane.
Man, I don't, man, because my ego's not ready to deal with how much I've fallen off from when I was decent.
Oh shit!
I'm not there.
Shit. Yeah.
So I hike and I run.
You play tennis.
I play,
and golf and shit.
I do that kind of thing.
Right.
Bocce ball and shit.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that bocce shit. Croquet. Fuck
yeah. I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up that kind of stuff.
Figure that out.
But I play pool. I play pool with the one pool where there's no holes. You know the one snooker. Yeah.
Snooker.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting into.
Snooky.
Yeah. No one even knows the name of that.
That's some different shit.
That seems like some Eyes Wide Shut shit. Like,
we should. All right.
Yeah, we gotta find out.
We gotta find that one out.
Who has one of those tables?
Yeah, fuck that guy. Whoever does, I'm saying that right now. Though, well, hey, Dino, where can people find you, man? Where do you want to direct people?
I mean, what you watch the IG? Is that the best? I think that might be.
at Dino
the Beloved.
Dino the Beloved for you millennials out there.
Yeah, man. Come over here, man, cause see what shit I'm talking about. I'll be over there, drip down. You know
what is
drip
that
or
about?
Drown.
What is that
drip
about?
Season year round. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know the slogan.
What's drip or drown?
Nobody knows what I'm doing.
Nobody knows. Nobody looked up.
Yeah,
nobody looked up.
Y'all know the slogan, everybody. When I say
crickets.
Hey, crickets, but DJ Marvel asked me to do a drip or drown drop, and that made me feel famous. So fuck you. If Marvel says, it's just a new, black people, we make shit up. We make shit up to sound fly, and so drip is the some if you dripping, it's like having sauce. Right. A whole lot of sauce.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Hey, learn, man. Get cool.
All right.
You better get up on it.
Okay.
It's
like
just
pasta sauce, like tomato sauce.
Of course,
Alfredo.
Of course. See, you had the hustler. Now you got this. Not just your style, man. Your individual style, and leaning into that. So if you come to my page, you'll see a whole lot of, don't come over here if you don't want to get wet.
Yeah. I've been drowning. I've been drowning for many years now. I'm trying to learn how to swim, but
fake news, man. And now this was a great setup, man. I like what you're doing, man. I respect what you're doing. I saw the homie Devine on this, and I wanted to come over here and chop it with you.
Hell yes, we need to have more comedians on.
Oh man, I recommend some people.
Absolutely. You want to drop the names here, or you want to go off camera?
Man, get Dave Merhaj over here.
Okay.
Get Dave Merhaj. He'll be here late August.
Okay.
He'll be here late August, man.
I might have to follow.
I'll connect you guys.
I might have to follow you up on that. Yeah. We have Ivan Decker.
Ivan's a real one. We have
Ivan Decker coming up.
Ivan's a real deal.
I have more fun. Listen, I do a lot of podcasts, man. We've done a lot. And I have more fun with gentlemen like yourself just going off the top and not necessarily trying to dig, because I've had a lot of very intellectual people. Not to say you're not intellectual.
No, I'm not. But I don't want you using that dirty word around me. I don't want that around.
I've had some very just like thought leaders and just like these people that are way above my pay grade and my thought grade. Right. And I'm like trying to keep up in the conversation and really pry and extract value.
Right here, you could just coast.
And I'm like, man, I want to have fun. Like I want to laugh. Here,
man, I don't even have to think at all. Is that what I get what you're trying to say?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for framing that like that. I appreciate it.
Man, it was like taking a day off.
I'm over here trying to say that I had a good time and shit. And he's like, fuck this guy.
I'm not saying, but I'm like, hey.
I didn't even have to try out here. I didn't get dressed up for this or nothing.
I like that.
Anyways, man.
I want it to feel like a massage when I talk.
Word. Pause?
Yeah. You just got massaged my friend verbally. Hey, I don't know if you like that or not, but if you had a good time, that's what happened.
That's what it is.
You just dripped down. I had a great. I'd like to come back, man. We got more to say.
Absolutely,
and more to chop it, man. You're doing some good work here, man.
I appreciate you, man.
And your whole team here too.
Hell
yes,
a
whole team.
We had everyone here. The team does
Nobody was here. Everyone was next door.
Absolutely. We got to do this podcast and get up out this space because we don't actually own it.
Break down.
We got to take this TV and shit. It's not ours, but we'll still take it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, seriously, you saying Vancouver is become a home to you. We appreciate that, and a lot of what this podcast is trying to crown our people and trying to crown our culture and crown our artists or crown our entrepreneurs, because we don't feel like there's a platform. And so we're trying to create that platform and really have people come to the forefront of that. Like we might crown Seth Rogen when he comes back.
That's dope.
But we never crowned Seth Rogen when he was here.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's true.
And
I feel you.
And so we want to try to, guys like Devine. Devine came out and did a shits and giggles, emotions open mic type thing.
Right.
And killed.
Yep.
And just killed. And I was like,
oh, he's a star, man.
I don't know this guy, but get him on, because he's
cool.
doing, and now he's doing huge commercials and different dope. Sets, and he's a great stand-up comedian.
Man. Yeah.
Devon, if you're listening, do more fucking stand-up, you bastard. I ran into him at the court the other day. I'm like, you doing any stand-up? And he's like, nah, not at all. I'm just acting. I'm like, fuck you, selfishly.
I know, he wants to. Yeah, he likes it easy, nice and easy. He doesn't want to come out here with
free
us
smoke.
With us smugglers and low lives.
Hell yeah! All right, Dino.
Thanks, man. Good talk to you.
Appreciate you, man. Dino, the beloved, and if you don't know, you won't know, and come holler at us sometime. I appreciate you stopping by, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My God, that's a wrap. Oh. Hey.